Now, so the Koenigsegg Jesko Grand Prix is just about to kick off, or the qualifications for it are kicking off. And yeah, this is one of those ones where everyone's like, you should invest in this, you should invest in this. Ignore all the other cars, you should invest in the Koenigsegg. And yeah, while the Koenigsegg is a fantastic car, investing in it might not be for everyone. And I'm just going to quickly run through that, as well as a qualification run as well of my time that I'm going to put through here. And yeah, I've got the key for this already, so I will bring that up in a bit in the actual thing. But what I mostly wanted to go into is just that thing that people are saying where, like, ignore the Veneno, ignore the CN, ignore everything, just go with the Koenigsegg because that's a king. And it is. The Koenigsegg is a fantastic car. Like, you cannot, like, take away from that. And if you stay this event and you click on prizes, yeah, the very first screen that you see here is this one where you've got keys galore the whole way down. So you're talking about the top positions all the way down to the top 9, I think it is. Yeah, so the top 9 players inside in this group will get keys. You've got 35 premium packs, which do have the chance of a key inside there as well. I have to say the frame rate on this prizes screen is horrific. But yeah, so 35 keys, and I believe it's something in the region of a 5% drop rate. So that's almost certainly a key, as well as like the next couple of things down here. Now, almost certainly a key I'm not going to go into in this, because I just want to focus on the number of people who are actually getting keys from this event. And I've broken it down. But say like this top thing, what might be easy enough to mistake is, yeah, that's not obviously where everyone's going to place. If you see in the top left hand corner, that is the top 1% in groups qualify. So of all the people who do actually take part in this event and qualify for the actual final rounds, yeah, the top 1% only are the people who are going to end up in tiers that have these prizes, which is, yeah, 1 in 100 people initially are going into these groups. Yeah, and in the second tier here, you've got 10% of all players are inside here, and they've got 3 keys between each one of those. Now, so your next group then is your tier 3, and that's where 25% of the qualifiers will actually end up. And in these groups, you've got 2 keys between every 20 players. And again, the packs here now are starting at 25. So you potentially have maybe a good shot at getting a key there. And from 4th down, no real sure shot of getting a key. So you've got 3 in that, which is where 25% of players are going to land. 50% of the top 50% then, so the people who are between 50% and 25% will all land in a group where they get 1 key between that entire group. Position 2 in this, you've got your 20%, or you've got 20 packs with 5% or so inside there, so nearly a surefire chance at a key. And then it's down to absolutely miserable chances after that of like those premium packs, with some of these having, yeah, 0 chance whatsoever. Like, there's just no potential of a key as you would go down through the top 50% in tier 4. And then you've got tier 5, which is, yeah, there's no keys guaranteed in tier 5 in this. That's the group from the top 50% down to the top 100. So effectively half the players will end up inside in groups like this. Now, so it might be easy enough to look at those tiers and see like, okay, in tier 3, which is right smack in the middle, there seems to be not a whole lot of keys, but obviously tiers 1 and 2, there's a lot of keys. Tiers 4 and 5, there's less keys, so you kind of have to stay on this half of the field. But the problem is, that's not half the players. Like, you have to think that from tier 3 upwards is the top 25% of players. Tiers 4 and 5 here have 75% of all players, and of that, half of those have no chance of a guaranteed key, and the 25% in tier 4 that does have a chance at a key, it's, yeah, 1 in every 20 of those is a guaranteed key. Now, I've actually done some math here on a scenario where you've got 2,000 players. So if you look down on the far left hand side here of the screen, the 9 of 20 players, that's in your tier 1 group. So in a tier 1 group, it's 9 out of every 20 people will get the key. In your tier 2 group, you've got 3 out of every 20, 2 out of every 20 in tier 3, and 1 out of 20 in the tier 4. 0 out of 20 in a tier 5 group. Now, I have that broken down then, and you can see the percentage of actual players in each of those groups, since obviously, like, the top 25 player group does not include the top 10% or the top 1%, because yeah, they're in those upper tiers within that. So that's the breakdown of how many players are in each group, as you see following underneath where the 2000 is. So in a group of 2000 players who actually qualify into the finals, 20 of that 2000 will end up in a tier 1 group, where you've got all those keys. So keep in mind, 2000 players who qualify will make up one group of people, because that is in 2000 players, that is how many you need to make one group of tier 1 players. Then in the following groups, yeah, you've got your 180 players will land in a tier 2, 300 players will land in a tier 3 group, 500 out of the 2000 would land in a tier 4 group, and 1000 out of every 2000 people who complete and qualify in this event will end up in your tier 5. And yeah, I've got the keys then marked down out of that on the right hand side. So of your 1000 players, 9 guaranteed keys from the people who are in the tier 1 groups, 27 from the 9 groups of people who will make up the tier 2, 30 keys from the 15 sets of tier 3 players, 25 keys from the sets of people who will make up the 25 groups of tier 4, and 0 guaranteed keys for the 1000 players who are in that last tier. So now you can see at the end there, in a group of 2000 racers, this Grand Prix, of the 2000 who qualify, 91 will get keys, and 1909 players will not. They will be relying on premium Grand Prix packs, or they will be getting absolutely no chance of a key in some of those further down prizes, where you just don't get any premium Grand Prix packs and you cannot get the key then. Now, so that was the main point that I wanted to make with this at the start of the video anyway, is the case of anytime you've heard somebody saying the fact that, like, oh no, you spend tokens on the Veneno or any other car. No, you should keep those tokens and spend them on this Jesko GP. This, like, the Jesko is a better car. You should have spent tokens on that. It's like, yes, the Jesko is a king of top speed. Should every player invest all of their tokens in it? No. Clearly not here. Players who would not win in weekly contests and stuff like that, and who find themselves generally in the kind of top 25% to top 50% in weekly competitions and stuff like that, should not invest heavily in the Jesko. Every token that you spend on the Jesko will be wasted. If you come away from this without the key, you leave with nothing. Any tokens that you spend on blueprints for it, those blueprints will go into a Jesko. That Jesko will get on, like, starred up. You will put credits into it. You will finish the Grand Prix, not have the key, and finish. 91 keys out of 2000 players. You're talking about around, it's less than 1 in every 21 players. So yeah, like, that means the fact that you are talking about effectively kind of the top 5% of players will be the ones who have the keys in this, depending on the groups that they land in. Now obviously people will do tactics to try to sandbag, so that who should be a top 1% player will drop down into a tier 4 group. They'll take the 1 key out of that and leave 19 tier 4 players with no key inside there. And, like, that's going to happen where some players will overshoot that and end up in the bottom, like, 50%, where, yeah, they'll sandbag and get no keys. But I can't stress this enough. If you look at these numbers and you think, like, oh yeah, I'm definitely going to qualify in the top 10% of players, and of the top 10% players, I'm going to be in the top 1, 2 or 3 of that. Then you should invest in the Jesko. If you're thinking to yourself that you do not place in the top 10% of players and you're in the 25% or the 50%, of those top 25% of the players you think you are, do you think you are the best of that group of players? Because you're going to have to be if you want to get the guaranteed key in this. And my only thing with this is like, go into this Grand Prix with the expectation that there is far more people will come out of this Grand Prix without the key than those who get the key in it. And like, that might suck to hear, and it might suck to think about the fact that, oh, but I really want the Jesko. It's like, yeah, that's exactly the idea with this. You want the Jesko, so does everyone else. And yeah, you're talking about the case of if you were to equally spread all players and all skill ratings around the thing, every single club would effectively come away with one player or less who has the Jesko out of this event. So do just keep that in mind. I don't mean to be a downer on this. All I'm trying to do is save people tokens who should not invest in the Koenigsegg Jesko. Now, the other minor / major problem you have is, say you have somebody like me, who in a weekly competition here is currently in the top 5% of this. I'd finish most of the events in the top 5%, top 1%, whichever of the top kind of tiers and stuff in the contests. So I will probably be landing in and around the tier 2 or thereabouts of events. The issue with that is the fact that I will then land in a group that's got 3 keys, and I would consider myself fairly decent. So I have won every Grand Prix car so far. I would probably have the potential at winning the key again for the Koenigsegg. Problem, but yeah, here's my Koenigsegg, which is all nice and unlocked, and I have the key for it from a previous special event. It is a really nice car, incredibly difficult to handle because like it has a cruising speed on land at 2 stars of around 290-ish, 292 miles per hour at that 2nd star. Like, that means that it can drive past something like a Porsche 918 Spider with a difference in land speed of around 80 miles an hour. Effectively, you can drive past somebody in a Grand Sport with this car as though they were stationary. It's that fast. Of course, it makes some corners and tracks nearly impossible because it's too fast. But yeah, I'm coming into this event, will be landing probably in a tier 2 to tier 3 group. If I land in a tier 3, it kind of sucks. But yeah, if I land in a tier 2 group, I'm going to be gunning for the decal that you can get for this from doing the Grand Prix, as well as the epic import parts for this, because I really want those. And I'm going to use this Grand Prix to tune my already 2-star version of this Koenigsegg up to 3, 4, and maybe beyond that. The Koenigsegg is a king, and I have no worries with this event. There's no way I can come out of this and say, if I invest 10,000 tokens into this, I know that I'm not going to come away and spend 10,000 tokens and then miss the key. Like, this Grand Prix does not matter to me in terms of the actual racing. It's just for epics and for the decals. So I can freely spend in this one without worrying about that same thing that, yeah, those other 1,900 players for every 2,000 are going to have to worry about. So you have the nightmare scenario where some people are going to be fretting because the tokens for this or the blueprints for this are 900 tokens on global for a 10 pack, so 900 tokens potentially for every 3 blueprints. Now there is actually a cool enough relay for this in the store, which does actually work out to be fairly fair from the looks of it. It's about, I think it's at 8,000 tokens for 40 blueprints for the Jesko. I might look into the math on that one and get that myself, but yeah, the main thing with this is you've got players coming into this Grand Prix who have this car and they've got the key. And for me, I have a fair idea that I will place in a tier 2 group. I have the car already. I'm going to take the key for that. I believe it gets converted into 1,200 trade coins. I'm sorry at my group if that does end up happening. At the same time, it's epic import parts, it's token refunds, and it's the decal for actually competing in the Grand Prix. So you can't expect players who have the car and have already invested in it to kind of like qualify into those Grand Prix and then skip out on actually taking part, because there is just too much other rewards from them as well to be had. So yeah, like everything in this is kind of stacked against players coming out of this Grand Prix. Like when you talk about the top 10% of players or so, that's got like people like myself, HS Mark, Curator, Chippy, like all of us already have the Jesko. And like, so of the names I just mentioned, we will have the Jesko, we'll come into this event, we will likely come away with extra keys from this. And it sucks. It really does. I've repeated that though a load of times already, and I'm just kind of going to make people go like, oh, I might as well stop playing. No, don't stop playing. Like, do awesome events. Like the Veneno is an amazing S-Class car, and there's loads of other things to do in the game. But I just really wanted to, like, if you've listened to this and you've thought, I still want to invest, that's cool. Good luck in your Grand Prix. I'm going to be racing, like, with this car against those. I really am looking forward to this one though, because like the Jesko is a cool car. I really wanted to tune it up for quite a while, and it's just been sitting here 2 stars, where it's awesome, but yeah, it doesn't handle really well at all. But like, I'm really delighted that people get a chance to race with this for the next week or so anyway, during the Grand Prix and the trials and stuff. But yeah, I just said I would definitely say, like, that comment of you should invest your tokens in the Jesko, that comment realistically applies to 1 in every about 21 people. It's not a universal thing, as less than 5% of the player base should invest in the Jesko, because yeah, 95% of people who like go into that event won't have the key. 95% of people who spend tokens will not get the car coming out of it. Just keep that in mind. That's, you know, the majority, the vast majority. Now, for anyone who thinks I'm just trying to instill fear and worry, by the way, by like mentioning other people have Jeskos, all you have to do is look in the S Elite Cup and you can see the top 100 of that. The players who are taking part in it actually depend on your garage level, as far as I know. But yeah, S Elite Cup right now, the top 100 looks something like this, and you can see that car name is lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of Jeskos in the entire top 100. You've got some Bugattis as well inside there, but this course on Himalayas is so nicely designed for Jeskos, but it does give everyone a chance to kind of come out and show off their Jesko. Mine, like I said, is just 2 stars, and I was able to actually put in a time very close to what I did in my 6-star Chiron, even though, well, my Chiron isn't fully tuned to 6 stars, sadly. Yeah, a lack of credits, but still, I just wanted to show just how many actual Jeskos there are floating around the place. All those people are going to put those cars into the Grand Prix and yeah, see what they can do about getting those epic import parts and the decal. Keep in mind, as I scroll down through this list, you've got about 50 Jeskos inside here. Those are the top players who are going. They already have the Jesko. So of those top keys, you now see how many of those keys are going to go to people who already own the Jesko. Still though, for qualification, the car has been regulated to 2 stars and it's on the dipping down stage. Now, in 2 days time, I'll get the fuel unit increase for this car, which will be really handy because Jesko with just 3 units of fuel isn't exactly ideal. But dipping down is a track which is fairly awesome in the Jesko, and yeah, first of 3 attempts, it's rock and roll. Like, I really like this Himalayan track, and Jesko is a car which like dominates on this kind of track where you've got crazy long straights and loads of times to throw it into the air. Now, minor jump cut to my 3rd attempt. Yeah, this car is incredibly powerful, and yeah, it can be kind of a bit overwhelming on any track. The cool thing with the Jesko is like, when you're driving in this car, you can sometimes just overshoot things because it's so crazy fast. It's like 292 miles per hour on flatland. But yeah, this is my third attempt with this qualifying run. And like, I'm just going to take it one bit easier because I ended up going into a field on one of the first runs. But that ramp here, I would normally barrel roll up on it, but I'm just leaving it out for this just to get like a steady run. Might not be the fastest, but yeah, it's always important to place at least a moderately good run. But yeah, dipping down here, it's so good with the Jesko, but this is a car that you really want to hit those barrel roll ramps so much lower than that. Oh, and the same on that. It's not too bad, but yeah, you want to make sure be going on the lights part of the center of those barrel roll ramps, and it can be really hard in this car. 303 miles an hour across the finish line. 105. That's not fourth. It's not too bad. It's qualified for now at least, but yeah, like I've got Infectious IRC and Italian Cyclops, a few from Owl Boys inside my group, and there's still some people left to run as well inside with me. So like, I may not qualify today on day one, but that is the pathway that I would use on this track. Let's see, some flop as another Owl Boys, and yeah, so there's another Owl Boy still to run. Lost Cooper Trooper, another Italian Cyclops, our IRC, and somebody from that cool group who are still botting using scripts. That's good stuff. Yeah, fourth place. Yeah, fourth place by a little bit. That's not too bad. I'm happy enough with that. Like I said, it's just to place a moderately okay time. Oh, no option to like give yourself an extra. I suppose you don't get an extra run and qualifiers. That's like qualifier 1 as well. So there's like qualifiers 1, 2, and 3, and then you get the option to buy into the actual Grand Prix if you want to take part in it. So like, even if you don't qualify the first day, just come back the second day, go again, third day, the same thing, and like just keep pumping for a top 10 time. And the cool thing with it is obviously like, the earlier you qualify, the faster you can get back into the practice stages and get like those goals completed to get the actual rewards out of practice. So like oh yeah, my 104 even time in practice, it always gonna happen. But yeah, so like as soon as you would qualify for the actual final rounds, then you can start working on the 18 nitro bottles, beat race time of 109, 108, and yeah, there's 6 extra blueprints for the Jesko right there. Also, there's a chance at getting a epic inside in those packs. That chance, I would wager, is somewhere around 0%, because yeah, that's like, yeah, incredibly short chance of getting those. That 104 even time would have put me in second position in my group. Yeah, 104.006. Ah, well, it's always the case, like when you're actually practicing to race time, putting in a time of a 1 second gap is around about right for what would normally happen with the nerves kind of factor brought into it. Especially since this is a turbo, I did just throw one of those runs straight into a field, and it's just like, game over. Good fun. But like, yeah, the Jesko is definitely a cool car. It's a king of speed, like 487 speed stat. And the thing is just, it's crazy. Like, it's a beautiful car. And also, like, it's just insane to drive. Like, if you've done this in the practice runs, you'll know that, like, there is nothing else really kind of like it too much in terms of just, like, sheer crazy speed. And yeah, the thing is just completely nuts to use. The only thing is, of course, like, it's got 3 units of fuel and it's fairly fragile, and you have to kind of rethink your strategy completely for using that on certain tracks. I find 290 miles per hour is just so crazy, and when you throw this into the air, you're talking about speeds well in excess of 350 miles an hour. Like, yeah, it just is incomparable to other cars. Like I said though, throughout this video, especially at the start, going through those numbers, like that logic of you should invest your tokens in this car in this Grand Prix, realistically just reach it out like to the people who would place in like top 25% or lower in things. It sucks to say this, but genuinely, like, my advice to you guys would be play the Grand Prix, see how you get on, see what group you land in, and make a decision from there if you're really going to have a chance at this or not. Obviously, if you do get through the qualifications and you place yourself in a nice enough group, tier 2, 3 or 4 even, just like make sure you don't skip out on any of the days. You get like 2 days per stage of this, and it's essential that you at least place some decent-ish time on each one of those runs. So like, what I would normally do in these Grand Prix is make sure and place like a moderately okay run, and then try and get like fancy with the second and the third runs in these. So like, do a nice placement run so that you're not freaking out and kind of like panicking on the third vital run. Like, so just do your easy run first, make sure you put in an okay time, and then try and punch it with a bit more practice runs, and just, yeah, do like actual good, like really nice time attempt. But like I said, consistency is kind of king in these Grand Prix over the full event. But yeah, like I say, for everyone though, good luck getting epics, decals, blueprints for the car even, because obviously, like for myself, one of the main things with this is once those Jesko packs appear, just to be able to tune up this cool car that I've had sitting at 2 stars for almost a year now. So I'm really kind of happy with this event. Really enjoyed the Veneno event actually at the same time. I've got a video on that up on my channel. I'm gonna stop rattling on though. There's a sub button up there, guys. I really appreciate it if you watch these videos, if you give a like down below, leave a comment, say like what you're kind of looking to get out of this, if you already have the key, and yeah, you're just getting your final stars for the Jesko as well. You can show off in the comments and say what you've got. But yeah, guys, there's other videos from me here and here. And again, really appreciate all the comments, feedback, everything. Alright, guys, good luck in the Grand Prix. Mind your tokens, and yeah, enjoy the Jesko for the week anyway. If you're not going to get a key out of it, you get to race like one of the crazy kings of speed for the next week. And yeah, good luck again, guys. And yeah, just mind your tokens.